And joining me right now, live from the RNC here in Wisconsin, is a Wisconsin Congressman, Scott Fitzgerald, a member of the House Financial Services and Judiciary Committees. Congressman, thanks very much for being with us.
You bet.
What did you make of what you just heard from Jen Psaki? She's putting it on Republicans. Tone down your rhetoric.
It's unbelievable, I think, as a member of the Judiciary Committee, where, you know, it gets kind of rough and tumble in that committee, and we go back and forth, and there's a lot of personalities, obviously, on Judiciary. But we get a steady diet of them attacking President Trump. So the idea that, you know, it's just the Republicans that somehow would be making those types of comments is kind of, it's difficult for me to hear, knowing what we've been going through over the last 2 years in that committee.
Well, we know that over those last several years, everything they say Trump is doing or their political enemies are doing, they're actually doing.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, it's almost like when the president certainly says something about democracy and saving democracy, the echo chamber is ready to go. Right? Yeah. I mean, the average rank and file member is out there on the steps of the Capitol, kind of with the talking points, once again, reiterating just about everything that's coming out of the White House.
I want to get your take on security here, but first, let me get your take on Wisconsin as a vote. Your district, the western suburbs of Milwaukee, is an important district for President Trump to win. Is that right?
It really is. It's a stronghold for Republicans. It has been for many years, and it needs to perform if President Trump is going to be able to pull this off in November. You know, we saw Senator Ron Johnson do it, but it's not easy. You got to kind of thread the needle.
Because it's purple?
Well, because it's a purple state,
yeah.
So you need to do well in the Fox Valley, you know, cities like Green Bay that people would be familiar with. And then when you're in Madison, when you're in Dane County, there's huge turnout over there. There has been in the last several statewide elections. So,
and that's much more liberal.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That area.
It's a Democrat stronghold.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
All right. So do you think he'll be able to do it? What does Trump need to do to get that voting block?
I do. I mean, not only being here in Wisconsin, having a presence, doing the rallies, everything that he has done in the past, but along with that, making sure that we can once again drive home that message specifically to, I know it comes up a lot, suburban women. Yeah. Who are watching their pocketbooks as much as anything else. Well,
I mentioned earlier, according to realclearpolitics.com, the data from the betting market says that Trump's chances of winning just went up. That the White House, winning the White House surged to 65%. That's the highest level since the start of this election cycle. But look, nerves are high. People are worried here after this assassination attempt. The Secret Service, however, said that they're not changing any security for the Republican National Convention, saying that it's already at the highest level that the federal government can actually designate. What is your sense of the security here? Local police also on heightened alert. We've got protesters expected, left-wing protest groups still planning on marching today. 5,000 to 10,000 people are expected. More than 100 different groups expected to protest the Republicans, Congressman. Are you ready?
The security resources available have been increased for both conventions. There was a long and tedious discussion about what the footprint should look like here in Milwaukee, the buffer zone, if you will. It's significant. So I think that we should be on track. But this is a much different type of effort than what you may see kind of on a one-day rally type of situation. So I do feel confident that the security level is high enough. We were on a phone call with Steve Scalise and the speaker yesterday. They did have Capitol Police talk a little bit about security and specifically about the many members that are here this week. So I myself feel confident that we're in a good situation in Milwaukee right now.
The delegates will be here, right? The Wisconsin delegates?
Yeah, Wisconsin delegates. There are people obviously traveling from across the entire nation.
So all the delegates, obviously.
Everybody will be here. That, you know, the room behind us right now will be packed.
Yeah.
And I think most of the people, if not all of the people, will feel comfortable while they're here in Milwaukee.
And talk to us about the agenda for the next 4 days. I know today's theme is Make America Wealthy Again. Then you've got Make America Safe Again tomorrow. And then, of course, President Trump wraps it all up on Thursday with Make America Great Again. Walk us through the agenda and what we should expect.
Yeah, each one of the nights, what they have chosen to highlight. I think is something that people be familiar with, because it's obviously what President Trump and his team have been driving home for some time. But all eyes are going to be on Milwaukee on Thursday evening when the president delivers his speech, especially after what happened this weekend. It will be the crescendo of the entire week.
By the way, the Secret Service is supposed to brief lawmakers on what went wrong on Saturday. What do you want to see from the judiciary? Are you investigating this at the judiciary level?
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the phone call. We had a full conference phone call that happened yesterday afternoon where the speaker laid out how Congressman Comer is going to take the lead on oversight. I'm sure that Jim Jordan will be involved as well. So, but this needs to happen. And now some calls from other members to maybe do an independent investigation beyond even the oversight of the House of Representatives. So
are you going to do that?
That could happen too. I would certainly support that as well.
Okay.
I mean, we are really struggling to figure out all the angles on this thing.
As are we. Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank
we'll be
you.
watching
Thanks,
your
Mary.
work this week, and an exciting week for you and colleagues.
It's going to be.
Congressman Scott Fitzgerald here.